Are we ready? Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. It's time for some Ultimate Access Football League. Sorry if that sounded cringy. I thought it would be good to say that, but it probably was cringy, but oh well. Today we are doing the Ultimate Access Football League once again. I'm gonna get started quickly so you don't have to keep waiting. Okay. First game, Orlando versus Atlanta. And it's going to be a no-win game. And it gets started instantly. I haven't even set up the stream yet. I just want to get this done quickly because it's better sooner than later. I haven't even Oh no, I clicked the wrong game mode. I guess I did it a little too quickly. Orlando, Atlanta. Okay, game is started. Welcome to Atlanta, Georgia, home of the Atlanta Razorbacks. Prism Live Studios joined. Let me check the records of both of these teams real quick. So for the Orlando, they're currently in third place in the AFC South with a 1-1 record and a point differential dead even at 0. Sometimes it's good to not be having a losing record, but it's also weird how they have exactly 0. Orlando looks to take a 2-1 looks to improve to 2-1 to start the season as Orlando what would happen if I banned the Prism Live Studio from Twitch? All right, so the Rockets are definitely had a they did win last week. I remember that. The Rockets beat Houston last week. However, Houston's currently in last place in the AFC. So Orlando will need to play very well tonight in order to take down Atlanta. There's a flag. It's against Bob Phillips for holding. This penalty's declined, however, because, why would you need to accept that? It's a first down. Andre Bush is the quarterback for Orlando this season. Sometimes I just want to change his last name to Onana just to make fun of him, but I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. Okay, here is a deeper pass. It's from Fuller. He scores. Fuller has scored a touchdown for the Orlando Rockets. Nice. That's a nice job by Andre Bush and the Orlando Rockets. And Orlando is set to kick it away. Atlanta is now going to start on the 25-yard line. And now let's take a look at the situation for Atlanta. The Atlanta Razorbacks are currently in first in the NFC South with a record of 1-1 and a point differential of -8. Atlanta is the only team in this league that has a negative point differential that is in first place in their respective division. So that just goes to show that even if Atlanta does win the division, they might still get cooked in their first game. It's that is incomplete. If Atlanta wins, they will climb. If the Razorbacks win, they're really not going to move in the playoff rankings. They'll stay in fourth. But if they lose, they risk getting knocked down. And since if they do lose, if the Razorbacks would be 1-2, and they would have a huge chance of not only being kicked out of the division leader spot, but out of the playoff range as well. As for those of you who don't know, the NFC South and the AFC, oh, there's a fumble. It's recovered by Atlanta, though. The NFC South is the worst division in this league right now. And the second worst division is the AFC South, where Orlando is from. So both of these teams are from pretty bad divisions. There's a fumble. It's picked up by the Rockets. It's the second time the Razorbacks have fumbled the ball in this drive, and this time it actually is recovered by the Rockets. What a game so far. There's a fumble. What is going on? Now the Razorbacks have the ball. It seems like both teams have put butter on people's fingers before the game started. We're playing the Butter Bowl. Well, that's a scare for the Atlanta Razorbacks. Um, I don't know why no one knows how to hold on to the ball. Here is Elliott. I didn't even read the quarterback. It's the third in inches. It's been 1 minute and 13 seconds since Atlanta gained possession of the ball already. And that is caught. The play was a shotgun. The shotgun play gets them to the 1 yard line. And Merrick Elliott is 5-6 as cute as the quarterback today for the Razorbacks. And John Henry with the sack as well, but that is one different way to spell John. I haven't seen it spelled like that before. Most of them are spelled John, but that one I believe was spelled a little differently. I think it was spelled Jhon. The Razorbacks score. Merrick Elliott and the Razorbacks score a touchdown. And this one is tied. I want to say the Razorbacks and the Rockets are evenly matched here. Here's Jacobs with the run. And the dime has stopped, barely stopped the Rockets, but the Grayson Jacobs has ran for 26 yards so far today. Here's Fuller. And that will be the end of the first quarter. So far, both teams are tied 7-7. Okay, so let's see. Let's talk about field goals if we must. I think if they kick from here, it's a 45-yard field goal. That should be manageable. So the Razorbacks have pretty much already conceded. Now it's a 46-yard field goal. But it still should be manageable by the Rockets. It's a first down by Bush. Andre Bush is 6 for 7 today. And incomplete. It's going to be 4th down. The Rockets are going to take a 20-yard field goal. Good. And Orlando has the lead again. This is the game that determines who's going to have a winning record and who's having a losing record. So it's important for both teams to capitalize here. Rockets now have a 53% chance to win this football game. The only question is, which team is it going to be that wins this game? Both teams are evenly matched here. I have to admit that. This pass is incomplete. The Rockets were once a mid-level team. I don't know if they're as good as they used to be, but they're still trying to hold on to that mid-range. And for Atlanta, they used to be pretty good as well. They were one of the mid teams as well. But they also have a Cinderella story of their own. Both of these teams have been to the Access Bowl before in Devon's XAFL. However, one of them has won it and the other one has lost it twice. The Rockets have lost it twice. And the Razorbacks have won it after a vote because somehow the XAFL didn't know how to classify 3 different teams having a tied point differential and a tied record and everything. Wait. Oh, they declined it because it's a 4th down. Okay. Orlando seems to be getting the best. It seems to be getting the best of Atlanta right now, as they are currently up by 3. They have possession of the football. However, they did just get sacked by Joey Kennedy. Here's Bush to Jacobs. It's going to be a 5-yard gain here. The first quarter of the season comes to a close after Friday Night Football. We will... Oh, it's picked off by Richardson. I can't even speak because plays like this happen. So picked off by Richardson. And now the Atlanta Razorbacks will retain possession of the ball. And it's a first down. And Cook, the wide receiver for the Atlanta Razorbacks, is injured. He will be back, though. Who is the kid? I don't remember. Nice catch by Butler, and he scored a touchdown. I wonder if one of his somewhat relatives is Malcolm Butler. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool, though. Razorbacks now have the lead. They now have Atlanta now has a 54% chance to win this game, as the Razorbacks have taken the lead from Orlando. Here's Bush. He's going to yeet it down the field. It's going to be caught by Baker for first. All right, a brief history from both of these teams. Atlanta's been to the Access Cup once, but they won it. And we're looking at season 6 and before, because that's when they did the old system. The Atlanta Razorbacks are season 4 XAFL champions. And it's going to be okay, here we are. Access Bowl. So for Atlanta, they won the Access Bowl in a shutout victory 13-0 against the Cincinnati Royals back in season 4 of the XAFL. The Rockets scored, and it is 16-14. And the odds, it hit the post, but Orlando now is back to having a 53% chance to win this football game. Now, for the history of Orlando, they've been to 2 Access Bowls in the XAFL. The first one was against the Baltimore Paladins, and they lost 18-9. And this was when Devin didn't know what conference to put the Rockets in, even though it was clear as day they were supposed to be in the AFC. But Yeah, the Rockets used to be in the NFC because Devin didn't know what division they belonged in because yeah, I think he thought they were Tampa Bay, but they're not. I told him numerous times. I showed him proof at one point, and then he finally figured it out because when they were in the Axis Cup or in the Axis Bowl back in season 6, which they lost that as well, they were in the AFC that time, and they played against Seattle. So I guess you could say the Rockets have won. If now that I really think of it, Orlando must be the only team in the Axis football history to be both NFC champions and AFC champions. That's a weird thought. I don't know if that's a flex or not, but it's not like they're going to be switching conferences anytime soon. Razorbacks are getting down the field here. Tim Hall has gotten no yards on rushing, but he's gotten 57 on passing. There's a flag. It is against Jeremy Wagner for a holding. And this is caught by Cook, the superstar for Atlanta. And there's little time left in the first half. The Atlanta Razorbacks have had possession of the ball for 53 seconds so far in this drive, and they're already in the red zone. However, they do need to capitalize on this drive. Incomplete pass as it was defended by Cook. Here's the pass, incomplete. It's 4th down. And we're looking to see a tie. I think this is going to be a 34-yard field goal attempt. Shouldn't be that difficult. And it's in. The Razorbacks have tied this one. All right, here is Bush. And that's a sack. And that is most likely going to do it for the first half. And it will. So far, the Rockets are currently tied with the Razorbacks. Almost said they were leading on accident. It's now Atlanta's getting down the field. 2 yards on that. Third and 18 for Atlanta. And here's the field goal attempt. It is good. The Razorbacks will take the lead. And now Atlanta has a 56% chance to win this Access football game. It looks like there's a scruffle here. And the Razorbacks have ball again. A lot of people are uploading right now. Field goal attempt. It's quarter number 4. Oh, it's no good. It hits the bar. And Atlanta is raging now. However, Atlanta still has a 62% chance to win this game, though, now that it's in the fourth quarter. It is looking like a disaster is brewing against the Rockets. Here's Orlando. They're gonna need the Rockets. Gonna need to. And what's up, C Maj Nash? Welcome to the stream. Here, it's 2nd and 7, and Orlando's gonna lose a yard. And oh, there's a fumble. If this is against the Rockets, it's gonna be a turnover. It's against the Rockets. It's a turnover. The Rockets have turned over the ball when they were about to tie the game. the Rockets, if they do not get possession of this ball soon, they might. I went to Rec Room Lives and I saw you. Yes, Rec Room. There is going to be another Rec Room stream coming up at some point. Let me look up the schedule for my main part of this channel. Let me hold on. Let me find it. I think our next one is coming. I think our next Rec Room stream should be this Saturday. So it's going to be Rec Room on prime time. Picked off by Atlanta. Razorbacks are going to now start hogging the ball away from the Rockets. Razorbacks still have a 62% chance to win. If this is a catch, it's not. Razorbacks will punt. And it's going to be a touchback. It's going to be a first down for the Rockets. Two-minute warning has struck. Atlanta now has a 65% chance to win this game. Odds are not very high, as it would normally be at this part of the game, because the Razorbacks only have a 3-point lead. Carlson is out for the rest of this game. T. Carlson reminds me of Tucker Carlson, but that's not who it is. I can promise you that. Jarvis Baker has gained 78 yards today. And Fuller makes the catch. No timeouts have been called yet. Here's Howard scores. The Rockets score. And now we await the point after touchdown. The Razorbacks have lost the lead to the Rockets late in the fourth quarter. And now Orlando has a 70% chance to win this game. It's a different story. It's a different story now that Orlando scores. Incomplete. I don't think Atlanta is as good as they used to be, guys. I've seen them play for a couple of weeks now, but they're just not at that level anymore. And why you want to live? Because I do. Here's Elliott on 2nd and 10, incomplete. At this point, a turnover means game over. So Atlanta has to score a touchdown or this game is over. First down for the Razorbacks. They will use their last timeout. So it's do or die. Incomplete. Gordon couldn't hold on to the ball. Here's a pass. It's 4th down. If Orlando gets this stop, they will win this game. And incomplete. It is a turnover on downs. And the Rockets will win this Access football game with the final score of 24-20. And Bush will kneel this one out. And this one is over. And as the clock hits 0, the final score is 24-20. And that will be that. I will update the standings once I start this next game. This next game is going to be taking place in the city of Edmonton. Orlando's now 2-1, while Atlanta is 1-2 now. All right, so our next game is going to be between the Vancouver Mallards versus the Edmonton Ravens in a all-Canadian matchup. Vancouver is currently 1-1. Edmonton is 0-2 as of right now. And the weather there right now, it's pretty clear right now. So let the games begin. You know you're in Edmonton when the grass is purple. And both of these teams are not quite evenly matched, I have to admit that. And the kickoff, and Edmonton will start the game with the ball. Sorry, I forgot to switch the camera angle before this game kickoff happened. There we go. I switched it now. All right, I am updating the standings for the game that just happened now. Orlando is now 2-1 with a point differential of +4. This will put the Rockets in second in the AFC South. And the ball is intercepted by the Vancouver Mallards. What do you look at that? First drive of the game, and Vancouver picks off the ball. With Atlanta now being 1-2, Mexico City is now in first place in the NFC South, as the Razorbacks will fall to second, as now 4 different members from the NFC South have a losing record right now. And if Mexico City loses, then all of them will. Honestly, I think that's crazy. I think Orlando's just behind Cleveland. That puts Orlando in play-in range. That kicks St. Louis out of the playoff range. Green Bay has picked off the ball, it seems. Or not Green Bay, I'm sorry. Edmonton. Why did I say Green Bay? The Axemen aren't even playing tonight. They lost this week already. Well, the Razorbacks are no longer the division leader. I gotta figure out where they go. Razorbacks are minus 12. So I gotta figure out where that goes. They're below Philly. But they're not below. So the Razorbacks, who were previously the number 4 spot, is now the number 15 spot. And Mexico City actually goes up as well. They are now the new division leader for the NFC South. It's a weird time to be a football fan if you've been paying attention to the UAFL or the XAFL for a long time. Well, first off, Philadelphia is number 13 in the conference now. Usually they're towards the very bottom. Well, the Razorbacks are now in 14th in the conference. It's very interesting to see how a team can go from having a very unsuccessful season to having a successful season just by making a comeback in franchise development. Here's Edmonton. They're going to catch the ball. It's an 11-yard gain. It's 4th down, though. And we are looking for Edmonton to make a kick into the field goal. And the Ravens will take the lead here late in quarter number 1. Here is Gilbert. Oh, snap. He's gone through most of their line. And they're going to start the ball on the 43-yard line. It's 3rd and 3. It's 4th down now. And the field goal is good. This game is tied as Vancouver kicks it from a couple of yards out. And the Ravens will get possession of the ball next. The weather ain't too bad in Edmonton right now. It's only 20 degrees. Usually it's colder than that, I would say. As the cold weather comes later next week, with the coldest day coming up being on Friday the 28th, with the temperatures dropping to 14 on that day. And on that same day is the coldest night as well, of just 3 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's going to be cold. So, yeah, hopefully anyone who is watching the game in the stands right now has got some form of jacket on, because it is frigid. And I hope you're not using glass for your beverages as well, because it is 12 degrees below freezing. Let me do the water freeze time calculator. I don't know what the initial water temp. Vancouver avoids the sack, but it's incomplete. It usually takes anywhere from 1 to 6 hours for water to freeze, so I'd say if you were watching this game from Edmonton, by the time this game is over, your water's frozen. However, if the temperature was 0 degrees Fahrenheit, it would take anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours. That makes no sense because they just told me an hour for 20 degrees. It really depends on the size of your containers. The Ravens lead by 3, but they're threatened by the Mallards. Seems like Edmonton's actually warmer than it's supposed to be right now. Vancouver almost makes it to the end zone. Here's a field goal, and it's actually not a field goal. It's a touchdown. I missed it, but the Vancouver Mallards have taken the lead, 10-6. Wow, why am I just now finding out that Edmonton lost to the Capitals? I'm a Caps fan, by the way, so I'm happy about this. But dang, Edmonton should have won that. I don't know how Washington is still good at hockey. Let's look at the standings for both of these teams in other leagues. Well, currently the MLS is the MLS over yet? It's late. It's almost. No, it's not over. In fact, Vancouver is playing this Saturday. Um, the as Vancouver's playing against Los Angeles this Saturday in the MLS playoffs. I think it's the conference. I think it's the MLS. The MLS is semi. It's the conference semifinals. The Western Conference semifinal is what it is. And for the rest of the other league they play in is which is the NHL, the Vancouver Canucks. They're currently 7th in the Pacific. As their history so far this week, or within the last 7 days, let's go over that. Well, 7 days ago was the 12th. So there's a bunch of games to cover since then. Okay, there's 3, but well, first the Canucks lost to the Hurricanes, then the Canucks beat the Lightning, and then they lost to the Panthers. And tomorrow they're playing the Dallas Stars, so as of course, and they're currently 7th in the Pacific Division. After being down by a point to the San Jose Sharks. However, they are 5 points ahead of the Calgary Flames, but I don't really think Canucks fans really care about that because Flames are in last. And somehow, Vancouver scores a touchdown. Touchdown, Mallards. Anyways, I was going to say somehow the Anaheim Ducks are in first in the division. I don't know how that's possible. They went from being rubbish last year. So obviously, I don't think the Canucks are going to be making the playoffs for sure, since they're in 7th in the division. Now let's look at the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, the other Canadian team we're talking about today, they're in 5th in the Pacific. They are 1 point ahead of the San Jose Sharks, and they're 1 point behind the Seattle Kraken. I need to look at the playoff rankings. Ball is intercepted by the Mallards. I almost called them the Canucks. Let me see if because I know it's the 3 division winners plus 2 wild cards, so I gotta figure out what that is. It's actually surprisingly, yeah, the Oilers are not in playoff range. So neither of these 2 teams, NHL teams, are in playoff range. If the Oilers miss the playoffs, Connor McDavid needs to leave the Oilers. There is no reason that a team can fall off that bad after losing in the Stanley Cup final twice in a row. Like, why is he playing for this team if they're not even going to do anything? And how are the Blackhawks in playoff range? Am I reading that right? This is a weird NHL season for sure. So it's Chicago and Seattle that are in playoff range for some reason. Um, it's 1 yard. If the Mallards win this, they will be 2-1 right now. I see Vancouver's been pretty active lately. But next week, I believe we got every team, or at least most of the teams. I want to say next week. Next week, 32 of the teams will be playing against a team inside their own division next week, while the remaining 8 will be playing a member from the opposite conference. If your team has already played an opponent during a divisional week, if your team has played a opposite conference match in week 2, you will not be doing that this upcoming week. So it will be against a divisional rival. For the rest of you, well, I want to say some of you guys will be missing out in the action in the divisional league and playing against your division next week. But don't worry, every team has to miss out at least once, so. Or I guess that all of them will miss out once. Here's a chance, and the Mallards score. I almost called them the Canucks again. Imagine if this was a hockey game and it was actually 24-6. I feel like Canucks fans would be laughing at Oilers fans for years to come. Like, however, in all seriousness, though, this is the equivalent of a game being. This is the equivalent of a game being 3-1 right now. In a hockey game. Or actually, that's a soccer game. Hockey, it would be equivalent of it being it'd be the equivalent of it being 6-2. Oh, I just got a pop-up. They're calling that new. I got a pop-up on YouTube saying there's a new feature called Managing Moderators. That feature has been out for over a year, and I've been using it for. That's my tier 2 moderators, and there are not very many of them. I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 people on that list. Only people I really trust belong there. Because there's a lot of moderators as it is, and I need moderators to manage the moderators. So. Because some of these moderators do misbehave, so. I haven't had anyone misbehave recently, though. That's a good sign. Not even in the Geometry Dash stream where usually it occurs. Last time, there was a time in Geometry Dash we did have to ban somebody this season already, but it was one guy. And if you get banned, you're banned for the season, so do not get banned. That's all I have to say. All bans will lift on the same day, and that is going to be February 1st. So to the guy who did get banned for that, you're gonna have to wait till next year in the season of love before um you can chat again, or at least on YouTube. Or actually, no, not YouTube. It was Twitch that I banned him from. They should still be fine for YouTube as long as they don't do it again on that platform too. So. This game is starting to become more and more likely for Vancouver to win. Like, the score is 24-6 right now. There's a fumble, and Vancouver just picked it up. And here it goes. The clown circus music starts playing in the background as Edmonton has once again turned over the ball off of a fumble. This team is just not built for this league. Look at this. I mean, their defense is all right, but their offense is just doesn't know what they're doing. Here's Hart. He's going to run it in. And touchdown, Vancouver. This game is all Vancouver. They've hit 30 now. And the Mallards extend their lead once again. The British Columbians have increased their lead once again. Now it's a 25-point lead. It's starting to become seriously large now. If the score holds on, it's going to be a big win for Vancouver, as their point differential will definitely be helping with their scores. And it's now 3rd and 1. And it's 4th down. The Ravens will have to punt again. Here's Ray. And it's a first down for the Mallards. It is the end of the third quarter. We can already imagine who won this game. I think this game is over. Like, just look at it. Tell me this game is not over without. Tell me this game is over without saying it's over. Just look at the score. It's 31-6 right now. I mean, yeah, it might not be over actually because San Francisco came back from being down by 21 in the last 5 minutes in a game to set it to overtime, and then they won it with a field goal. And that was a preseason game. Sharks are currently 3-0 right now, if I remember correctly. There's a flag. It's against Zane Brock from the Mallards. Here's a first down for Vancouver, and not just one. It almost was a touchdown. They're on the 1 yard line. And they did score another touchdown. They are up by 32 points. This is starting to become embarrassing if you're Edmonton. The score line in a hockey game, what would that look like? It would be 10-2 if this was a hockey game. Just so that you hockey fans know what I'm talking about, and since this is a double Canadian matchup, 10-2 in a hockey game. That's how embarrassing this has gotten for Edmonton. And all they managed to score was 2 field goals. They haven't even gotten a touchdown yet, if they are going to. It's Edmonton's knocking on the door right now. They're going to try to score on this drive. First down, Edmonton. Here's Edmonton. First and goal. Incomplete. Here's Erickson and caught. Touchdown Ravens. Ravens will get a touchdown back. And now I can safely say the score line in hockey terms is 4-10. It's now 1st and 10 for the Mallards. Vancouver has been dominant all game. There's still 4 minutes to go, and I honestly can't wait for this one to end because I think my team is playing next. I think we're up against Minnesota. Okay. Vancouver's about to score again. Second and 5, 2-minute warning. The Edmonton Ravens will call a timeout. Not sure why they're doing it. They've already lost this game. Like, look at it. They're down by 20 still. Ah, I messed up. I messed up a poll. I'm trying to set up the GA Cup and I accidentally put Fortnite 4 instead of something else. Vancouver continues to dominate. Here in Edmonton. Edmonton fans are probably already leaving the stadium. I could guarantee that. It's a penalty. Edmonton's got one timeout left. I think after this drive, I think this game is pretty much over. Fourth down. Last timeout's called. This is do or die for the Ravens. And I don't think Edmonton's going to do the do part in that. They did get the first down, so this game will continue a little bit longer. I'm not sure. I was about to say the clock was stopped for some reason. Incomplete again. The GA Cup is set up several minutes in advance. Incomplete again. Because usually I set up the GA Cup during the second game. This second game is about to end already. And it's only 11:40. So we're ahead of schedule right now. "30 seconds to go." And the clock is still ticking. 20 seconds to go. They spike it. Why is Edmonton playing like they can actually win this game? I'm sorry, but you can't. Look how much points you are down. They think they're going to win. They're not going to win. They don't have enough time to make a comeback that big. Like, look at that. They are down by, what, 28 points? They're down by 4 touchdowns, and they believe they can still win this game with 15 seconds to go. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and this game is over. Vancouver has beaten Edmonton, and that is the end of that. Wow. Definitely not the game Edmonton fans were looking for, but it is something that Vancouver fans were looking for. All right, let's go to the next game. Our next game is the Baltimore Paladins, my Baltimore Paladins, versus Cryptom's Minnesota Pride. Okay. We're in Minneapolis this week. We're on the road this week, so. Let me go look up the weather in Minneapolis. And then we can kick start it. Cloudy. Obviously night. And there's wind. Awesome. There's wind again. Just like there was in week 2 when we lost to Cleveland by 21 points. Actually, no, there wasn't a wind that game. It was when we played Boston. Welcome to Minneapolis, Minnesota. In a matchup we like to call the Purple Bowl, because this is the UAFL's version of the Baltimore Ravens versus the Minnesota Vikings. Except I question Minnesota's jersey choices. I don't know why they're using that. Ugly color scheme. What is that? What is that? I'm sorry, if I'm a Vikings fan, I do not want them dressing up like some cheese-headed FNAF-looking character. Like, it just doesn't make sense for a team to wear it like that. The Paladins are back on the field, as I'm now going to be changing the standings real quick. Vancouver won by, 31-28. They now have a point differential of plus 17 after that. And they are now in second in the NFC West. As for Edmonton, on the other hand, they are currently now 1-2 with a point differential of negative 31. That's going to put them in fourth in the AFC West. Nebraska's the only team lower than them right now. All right, let me go update this. All right, it's Vancouver above Green Bay. No, so we're going to go ahead and just put them in 8th. Minnesota has intercepted the football. Awesome. And now the Pride will run down the field. This is an issue that Baltimore's been having since the start of the season. There's just too many turnovers because the quarterback always throws the ball and it's picked off. It's always John Matthews. It's always his fault. It's literally always his fault. Okay. Edmonton's now in 16th in the AFC. The Minnesota Pride have gotten a first down. We're about to get scored on. Oh my gosh. They're going to let him throw the ball. It's incomplete, thankfully. I don't know what's going on with our defensive line. He should have been on him. There's no excuse to not getting to the quarterback after that much time has passed. There's a flag. It's probably against Minnesota. Let's see. Let's check that flag. Nope, it's an offsides against defense. It's 2nd and 5 because of Ferguson. Second and 5 for Minnesota. It's going to be no gain on this play. 3rd down. And it looks like it's going to be 4th down right here as Baltimore gets to stop. And we await a 41-yard field goal attempt. And the 41-yarder is good. Oh. Running back gets stuffed by Knight, and it's a loss of 5 against Baltimore. Here's John Matthews. He's going to run the ball himself. He's getting 8 yards. He didn't slide, though, like a normal quarterback would. And it's 4th down. The Paladins are going to have to punt. Let me look at the records for both of these teams. Baltimore is currently 1-1, and they're 4th in the AFC North because the AFC North is the best division in this league. However, they're playing a team from the 2nd best division in this league. Maybe the NFC North is the best, because I think teams from over there were really good. Minnesota is currently 1-1. If they get this win against Baltimore, which I'm hoping they don't, because my team is Baltimore, they will have a winning record for the first time in a while after 3 weeks. Here's Barrett. And it's a flag. It's against Michael Rodriguez from Baltimore. Here's Barrett. He's going to get a first down for the Minnesota Pride. Here's Barrett. He's going to get 10 yards, but it's going to be 2nd and inches. Second and inches. And it's 3rd down as Baltimore might get this stop here. And they do. It is 4th down, and Minnesota is likely going to kick another field goal. This one is going to be from 40 yards out. It is good. And Minnesota has extended their lead. It's now 6-0. He's going to... Okay, so Daniels is going to return this. And that is not good field position if you're Baltimore. That is the 16-yard line that they've been spotted on. And he's sacked. Matthews is sacked. It's now 2nd down from the 9-yard line. Here's John Matthews. He's going to step back the pass and incomplete. Here's a pass down the field. It's 4th down. They're going to punt from the 9-yard line. Baltimore's going to punt from the 9-yard line. And Minnesota is going to get good field position automatically. They're going to start on the 50-yard line. It is a gain of 2 yards on this play. It's still not even 12 a.m. and we're already in game 3. It's already the 2nd quarter, and it's not even 12 a.m. yet. That is a rare sign in the UAFL, literally. Holding against the defense has sold that one for Baltimore's defense. And Minnesota is going to get another set of downs from that penalty. Neal is going nowhere here. Neal must be a good running back, though. But there was just too many Paladins for him to go through. Here's Barrett. He's going to quick pass it, and it's going to be a no-gainer on this play. 3rd down. I don't know if they would... I don't think they're in field goal range. Because from here on out, it would be 60 yards. Well, Wanger does make the catch. It is 1st down again, as Baltimore could not get the stop here, and it's 1st down for the Pride again. Here's Brooks. He gets another 1st down. Now Minnesota's back in the red zone again for the 3rd time this game. Here's a pass, and it's caught for a Minnesota touchdown. And now we're getting fripped. I'm freaking dying, dude. I almost want to laugh at how pathetic we are. I want to laugh at how pathetic my team is this year. Just because we got beaten by a good team last week doesn't mean let's lose to the next team. I don't get it. It's 13-0 right now. Here's John Matthews. He throws it really far. He does get the catch to Bridges. That's about the best play we've seen all game from him. That's probably the best play we've seen the whole game so far for Baltimore. And here's Newman. He gets 2 yards. We're already in field goal range. Baltimore can kick it from 60 yards out, so... Wide open, and it's incomplete because the runner wasn't running the route. Third and 8. And it's 4th down. All right, we await the field goal. It's going to be a 40... It should be a routine 48-yard field goal. For a kicker like Wanger, he should be able to make it from this far out. And it's up. And it's in. And the Paladins will get something on the board. It's 3-13. It's now officially 12 a.m. in where if you're from Baltimore, and if you're from Minnesota, it's obviously now 11 o'clock. It's 3rd and 6. And it's going to be a punt. Paladins will call timeout as their defense is awoken. Oh, are they going for it? Oh my gosh! What was Minnesota thinking? That's a turnover on downs, and Baltimore's in field goal range. Knowing that Wagner is on the Baltimore Paladins, why would you go for it on 4th and 6? Here's a pass. Oh my gosh, it's picked off. Why? You can't even capitalize on a turnover and downs. We absolutely deserve to lose this game. We absolutely deserve to lose this game. What the frick was that? How do you go from getting the ball on turnover and downs literally near the red zone and still not score? What are you doing? And now we get an encroachment call. Nice. I remember when this team was actually good. Now we have fallen apart because John Matthews is screwing us over again for the 2nd year in a row. Get this guy out of my team. He is horrible at QB. I've been saying this since the last time an X's game came out. This is this is like the most unpredictable game you would see. It's like it feels like this sport is scripted, but it's not. Like, how does Baltimore throw an interception immediately after getting the ball on 4th and on a turnover and downs? And that's a first down for the Pride. Minnesota's got 1 second left. Let's see what they do on this play. They might have to throw a Hail Mary. They're going to quickly throw this one. It's incomplete. And it's halftime. So far, Minnesota's up by 10 over Baltimore. We have a lot of work to do. Touchback. And Minnesota will get the ball. There's a sack by the defense. I feel like whoever gets the Baltimore Paladins in the XAFL, my advice to you, get rid of John. He is just not he is not him. He is not him. I just want to point that out there. And that's even if you decide to pick Baltimore as your team. This team might not even be good enough to even participate in the XAFL. It's like embarrassing. Like we're a shadow of what we used to be. We used to always make the playoffs a lot. Now we just suck. Like what happened here? It's first down for Minnesota. Here's a pass, quick pass to Wallace. He is going to get a first down. It's a new set of downs for Minnesota after a 3rd and 6. And here's a sack. All right, Minnesota's looking to pass deep. They're going to screen the ball. It's going to be a 5-yard gain. It's 3rd and 13 from the 48-yard line. Here's Minnesota, and it's a first down. How is... All right, defense, what the frick are you doing? It is 3rd and 13. How do you not get the stop there? I'm starting to get mad at this team now. I don't know what the frick we're doing anymore. Like, this is Minnesota. How the frick do you lose this to them? This team hasn't been that good ever. I think we're just bad. I think this team is just... I think Baltimore's just bad. They're not even mid. They're just freaking horrible. Like, what happened? Here's Barrett, and it's swatted by the defense. It's 3rd and 8. Hopefully the defense can get the stop here. At least if you're a Baltimore fan like me. If you're a Minnesota fan, you would hope for the opposite. But here's Minnesota. They're going to run the ball. They almost got the first down, but the stop has finally been made, and Raynor is out for now. Here's Minnesota. The kick is good, I'm pretty sure. And Minnesota will extend their lead once again. It is now 16-3. It's 2nd and 2 for Baltimore. Here's Russell. He's going to get a first down. And it's a 1-yard gain. Here's John Matthews. Throws it deep. Incomplete. Not sure why he made that throw. Because he was well on him and he was lucky enough it wasn't picked off. That one's caught by Daniels. Second and 5 for Baltimore. They're going to run the ball. Newman gets a first down. Here's Matthews. Throws it up the middle. Incomplete. Welcome to the fourth quarter. The score is 16-3. It is 12:16 a.m. If that doesn't go to show how early it is, most of these nights usually end by anywhere from 2 a.m. to 2:30. There's a fumble. Oh my gosh. I about had it. I've had enough of this freaking team for today. How can you do... They do it on purpose. I swear. They do it on purpose, man. Like, how do they find any possible way to turn over the ball? They find any way they possibly can to turn over the ball. Like, I don't believe it. I think we're going to have a really bad season if this is how we're going to start. We're going to have a 1-2 start. We're in 10th in the league, right? We're in 10th in the AFC right now. Well, not for long. We're about to be kicked out of playoff range if we lose here. Defended by Robertson. It didn't even matter because he was out of bounds. It's 3rd and 20. Here's Barrett. Deep pass is incomplete. And there will be a punt coming from... There will be a punt coming from Minnesota. Oh, hold up. We are. Is anyone else experiencing some technical issues with their live right now? Um, if this continues on Twitch, I would recommend you guys to move over to YouTube because we're live on there as well. Because it's only happening on Twitch right now. Incomplete. It seems to have fixed itself though. I'm not sure what that was. There was a bunch of screen tear going on. Yeah, I'm constantly monitoring this stream, so if any issue happens, I know. First down, Baltimore. Another first down for the Paladins. Here's Matthews. He's going to lose 2 yards. Can we score something that isn't a freaking field goal, please? All right, Matthews goes to pass. It's picked off again. What the freaking heck is going on? John Matthews, get the frick out right now. Get out of this team. How many interceptions has he thrown today? I've lost count on how many times the Paladins have turned over the ball. Right when we're about to score is when John Matthews wants to turn over the ball. It's freaking annoying. This guy's a curse to this franchise. He's been stuck with us since Access 24, or maybe even longer, I don't know. Alright, Minnesota's going to punt the ball. Like, Minnesota's offense is not even doing good either. Let's be honest here. Our defense has been really solid today, but our offense is so freaking trash that we just can't win at this point. Like, what do you do when John Matthews puts your team in a 6-foot grave? There it is, another 3 yards lost. And that is out of bounds. That's 4th down. Here's fourth down. Caught by Hunt for a first. Fourth down conversion. Here's pass to Newman. He gets the first. We're in the red zone now. There's still a chance for Baltimore to win this game. Backwards pass. That was a backwards pass for a loss of 7. What an idiot. Out of all the ideas you come up with that? 2nd and 17. Pass is caught by Hunt again. Hunt has been carrying this offense so far. Two-minute warning. Third and 5. Pass up the middle. Caught for a Baltimore touchdown. Finally, the Paladins score a touchdown. However, there's only 1:58 to go. So if I was Baltimore, I would go for a 4th and 12. Wait, what? We're kicking it? Why are we kicking it? Alright, okay. If we don't get the ball back and we lose, it's your fault. And it's a first down for Minnesota. Here's Barrett. He's going to get a first down. Oh, wait, that's game over. Oh my gosh. That's game over. I told you we shouldn't have kicked the ball like a retard. Why are you guys so freaking stupid? Congratulations. The Baltimore Paladins have peed on their own grave and lost this one as well. What a group of idiots, man. What were they thinking? This team is full of idiots. Like, what the frick? We lost to Minnesota. To freaking Minnesota. This is why I told these idiots not to kick the ball and just go for a 4th and 12. These guys have no football awareness, man. None at all. We are now 1-2. Minnesota is now 2-1. I just want to say, if you are a Cryptom and you're watching this, I just want to say good game. But it is my team's fault that we ended up losing because we just suck in general. It's like the Ravens. They lose because of themselves. Like, what the frick was that? And now I don't even remember who we play next week. I think we play Cincinnati next. I don't even think we're going to win that. Okay, next game. I'm going to say clear with no wind, just because it's only partly cloudy. Last game of the night is Calgary versus Carolina. I just don't understand how we lost that game like that. Like, what? At least put up a fight. No, they didn't even put up a fight. They just wanted to be too busy fumbling the ball and making terrible decisions on offense. Like, I'm still dying from that last game. I want to try. I forgot to put the scores from the Vancouver game in. Don't remember what it was. It was. Why was I excited for the next game? It's 41-13, right? Yeah, it was 41-13. That was for Vancouver's game, by the way. All right, let me update the standings real quick. Baltimore is now got a point differential of just +1. As Baltimore is now 1-2. And for Minnesota, they got a winning record now. And despite that, they're still in 4th. So even though Minnesota won, they're still in fourth in their division because everyone else in their division's good. Touchdown Carolina, by the way. I'm gonna move Baltimore down in the rankings. I think we're +1. What's Kansas City's rating? Okay, so Baltimore is now no longer in playoff range. And St. Louis is back in the playoff range. As the Paladins are now in 13th in the AFC after their loss to Minnesota. And for Minnesota, who is currently already in playoff range, now they're doing even better now with a 2-1 record. However, though, I don't think they passed anyone, though. Guys, this is Minnesota's second. That was Minnesota's second win in a row. All right, I'm about to look up who we play next week. Because next time it's going to be week 4. Let me just search number 4 up. Okay, so week 4. We play on a Tuesday. It's against Pittsburgh. I don't even think we're going to be ready. I thought we were playing Cincinnati next. I didn't think Pittsburgh was next. Well, they're definitely... I don't think we're ready to face the Ironhawks. All right, so here's Carolina on second down. Let me look at the records for these two teams so that I know what we're looking at. So for Calgary, they're currently 1-1. And for Carolina, they're 0-2. The Rattlers do need to win this week, I think, because they just haven't been successful at all this season so far. Here's Manning. Second and 5. Here's Gonzalez. Incomplete. It's good, and Calgary does get on the board. Here's Hunt. Incomplete. It's 4th down. And it's now time for a punt. I just noticed that every single person on the Carolina in the stands looks the same. Here comes another incoming punt. It's now 2nd and 12. It is now 2nd and 20. And Elias has caught the ball for a first down. And there's a flag against Calgary. The Orioles have been flagged again for a hold. Surprised they didn't call it pass interference and put it right there. And it's intercepted. The Calgary Orioles have intercepted the football. Incomplete. Fumble recovered by the Carolina Rattlers. It's almost halftime as well, and it's not even 1 a.m. yet. And here's a first down from Calgary. And Calgary's going to call timeout. All right, here's the Orioles. They were going to kick a field goal, but they ran out of time, and it's 3-7. And this game is a little bit slow on offense, I gotta say. Neither team's offenses have really gotten awoken today. So far as we Touchdown. Yep, touchdown Carolina. Rattlers score, and they're hitting the gritty. Or not the gritty, hype. It's now 14-3. It's now 1 o'clock here in Maryland, where this is being broadcast from, or 1 a.m. at least. If you're Carolina, it's also 1 a.m., but if you're Calgary, I believe it is 11 p.m. right now. Yeah, Calgary is one of the Calgary is one of the few teams that is actually located in the Mountain Time Zone region. How many teams are located in how many UAFL teams are located in the Mountain Time Zone region? Well, you have the Denver Mountaineers. You have the Arizona Heat. You have the Calgary Orioles, Edmonton Ravens, Arizona Heat, Denver Mountaineers. I think that's it. There's only 4 teams in the UAFL that are located in the mountain. What the frick was that bug right there? If I remember to reshare that clip. Actually, I'm going to clip that because I need to send that to Access. I've never seen that happen before. Trying to click clip. Keep editing. It was a passing play. That's all I remember. Touchdown Calgary, by the way. And the Orioles will shorten it to a 4-point lead. He, like, fell over. He, like, the quarterback legit, like, fell over. I've seen it all. We've seen it all, but I've never seen that. Alright, I sent the clip to chat. I don't know why it's portrait, but... Teams in certain time zones. We have teams in 4 different time zones in this league. Now, if I remember... Now, for the Pacific region, there's Vancouver, there's Seattle, there's San Francisco, Los Angeles, and I believe Las Vegas. There might only be 5 teams in that region. You would think there'd be more, but there isn't. For the central region, there should be a whole bunch of teams. Rattlers scored a touchdown as well. In the central region, there is the Winnipeg Devil Cats, Mexico City Jaguars, Houston Bombers, Dallas Stampede, Oklahoma City Cyclones, Louisiana Gators, Tennessee Bloodhounds, Minnesota Pride, Green Bay Axemen, the Nebraska Thunder, and I believe the Chicago Lake Hawks, and if I remember correctly, Indianapolis is there too, isn't it? Might be 12. Okay, so Lincoln, Nebraska. No, I'm wrong. Lincoln, Nebraska is in the central region, not the mountain region. It's Omaha that we're talking about, but Omaha doesn't have a team. The fact is that Nebraska has a franchise in a city that has that has 300,000 people in it. But let's look at Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska has a higher population than Lincoln, Nebraska. So why did the Axis Football developers decide they wanted to put it in Lincoln, Nebraska instead of Omaha? And even then, even if it is Nebraska's most popular city, it's still smaller than it's still smaller than a city that I was at called Arlington, not Texas, but Arlington, Virginia. Now, for the rest of the teams, I cannot believe they're playing DFL right now. Okay, Indianapolis is in the Eastern region. I was wrong again. So the teams in the Eastern time zone, there's the most of them are there. You have Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Indianapolis, Detroit, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, Carolina, Washington, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, New York, and I think Boston. So there's 17 in there, and I forgot to put St. Louis in the Central region. So yeah, most of the teams in this league are in the Eastern time zone, with the least being in the Mountain time, with there only being, I believe, 4. It would have been 2 if we didn't add Edmonton and Calgary to the list. Now, how's the GA Cup going? And incomplete. Touchdown, Calgary. Calgary's trying to keep it alive, but it's not happening here. And I think this game is about to come to a close. I think we already know that from this point forward, I think Carolina is going to win this game. And since this is the fourth and final game, that does mean that this stream is going to be coming to a close as well. All right, so I guess I will go over tomorrow's UAFL schedule for day 4 of week 3. Um, Coming up first is Chicago versus, coming up first is the Cincinnati Royals versus the Chicago Lakehawks. That game is going to be hosted in Illinois by the Lakehawks. So next we got Dallas versus St. Louis, or the Dallas Stampede versus the St. Louis Racers. That's going to be hosted in Missouri, in St. Louis, Missouri. The third game is going to be the Detroit Firebirds versus the Pittsburgh Ironhawks. That's going to be hosted in Western Pennsylvania, home to the Ironhawks. And finally, the Boston Whalers versus the New York Barons. That's going to be hosted in New York. If your team has not been called, either your team has already played this week. If either your team has already played this week, if it was this live stream right here, or Tuesdays or Saturdays, one of the three of those days, because at now a total of 24 teams have played this week now, but there's still 16 left. And if you are one of the 8 teams that are not playing tomorrow, you will be playing on Friday. Those being Arizona, Montreal, Mexico City, Seattle, Denver, Buffalo, Houston, and Nebraska. Those 8 teams will be playing on Friday. As Carolina begins to knee this one out, this game is over, and Carolina will win this game 16-28. It's a 12-point win for the Rattlers, and that will be the Rattlers' first win of the season. Gotta give them. Carolina actually has a positive point differential. Has Carolina played Atlanta? I gotta check because they could be in second in the division right now. No, they didn't play Atlanta. So that means... And that just goes to show how unskilled this division is. All right. All right. So So the Orioles are now in 14th in the AFC. After the loss. So, and for after Carolina won, I gotta figure out where they go. They have a they have a positive point differential, so well, so does Philly. So they're below Philly. I think they're just below Philly then. That puts Carolina in 14th in the NFC. And that is going to do it for today's Ultimate Access Football League live stream. I believe I began this live stream at 10, around almost 10 o'clock. So this stream is actually ending 30 minutes early because we actually managed to not waste our time transitioning between UAFL games. So thank you guys for watching this presentation of the Ultimate Access Football League. We will see you guys again tomorrow night for Thursday Night Football.